Hi guys, welcome back to Retired for Life. It's been a little while since I've done a video. I do have some bits and pieces of footage that I shot, but I think we're going to ignore that for now and skip ahead. It's been well over a month, maybe 2 months. So what I'm going to do is just give you a quick update here as to what's been going on that has been keeping me so busy. So you remember I've been working down in the gully here, cleaning things up, and that has gone quite well. I've got to get back to work on this because I need more of these chips. As you can see, it makes for real nice paths. So things are in pretty good shape down here. The pine tree I took down is pretty much gone, and we'll go have a look at the results of that. So as you may have seen from my other videos, if you've watched them, I have talked about Art's place a few times and going out there and helping him with his sawmill and whatnot. But anyway, this is the end result of that one pine tree. I've got some beautiful lumber here. It is really nice stuff. So what I have done, kind of inspired by this and inspired by the insane cost of lumber these days, is I have gone ahead and bought my own sawmill. So I bought quite a small one. It's Woodland Mills HM, I think it's HM 122. But it's not going to be here for a few months. So this is the site that I'm going to set it up in. I'm not going to put it on a trailer because that was another $1,000 on the price. So this is a pretty good spot. I can get to it and bring my wood up here. So I'm going to station the sawmill over here and set up racks over here to start stacking the wood that I'm going to use to run through the sawmill. Some of the wood, like the pine and that kind of thing I will just purchase through Art. And some of it, like the spruce and that type of thing, I can cut off of our own property. We've got a lot of wood here. The other thing you may recall was I had one bird feeder that I had put out very early in the spring, late winter, and I went a couple of weeks with nothing coming to it whatsoever. But as you can see, I've got a few more feeders out there. I've actually got a pie pan on the ground that the birds are using for bird bath and the chipmunks are using for drinking from. So I do have a bird bath on the way, and I have 2 more feeders. I've got another hummingbird feeder coming, and I'm trying to attract orioles, so I have put out this feeder with oranges on it. And that's only been out for a couple of days and no sign of orioles yet. But it's been a real pleasure to just sit over here sometimes or sit on the other side of the yard and watch all these birds come in and out kind of thing and enjoy the feeders, and I get to enjoy the sounds they make, the music they make. Some of them are just kind of squawking and whatnot, but it's still pretty pleasant to kind of sit in the middle of this. And the hummingbirds are already getting incredibly bold. They are a very interesting little creature. I sat out here with my long lens the other day, aimed at these 2 feeders, and the hummingbirds kept coming and landing in this bush beside my chair, not more than 6 feet away from me. And that, of course, made the long lens useless. But it's been fun playing with them. The next thing I've been working on has been putting in a vegetable garden. This is really the first time I have put in any kind of decent-sized vegetable garden. So I wanted to do it right. So that meant putting in these posts, which was quite a job, because this is very, very rocky stuff here. So it was a real challenge to get the posts in and to get this rototilled and pull all the rocks out. Boy, that was something. But it's all planted now, and that was just done a couple of days ago. You can see we've got some rhubarb coming up over there, and we're looking forward to getting some of our own vegetables out of it. Boy, it was a challenge putting in, but it should be interesting. I think now that the tough work is done, which is the rototilling, the initial rototilling, and getting all these posts in, it should be a much easier thing to maintain. I just have to finish putting up the deer fence around it, because we are in the bush. We do have lots of deer come around, so I'm going to protect it as best I can, anyway, within reason, by putting some deer fencing around it, which is pretty light fencing, but it should do the job. So there's one of the other things. There's a hummingbird floating around up on the top of the antenna there. One of the other projects that I'm kind of pretty much finished with now is the Starlink system. So Dishy is attached here to the side of my old TV tower, and if you've seen my other videos, you saw that I had it sitting on a temporary location throughout the winter, that kind of thing. And this has been amazing. It works beautifully. I'm really, really happy with it. I've got no interference from these trees because Dishy is just up too high, and the satellites that it receives from are at a pretty good angle facing up. So it's been a real pleasure. Average speed, we're looking at somewhere around 160 very often. I have seen it up to 200 once, so it really goes. It's quite a difference. So one of the plans for the sawmill is to slowly replace a lot of the siding on the house. So this is the west side of the house, so it gets the brunt of the weather coming in. And when this siding was put up, it was never really treated or anything, and it was just rough sawmill siding. I'm not sure where it came from, but my plan is to replace the siding by cutting my own, which should be pretty easy to do. And then I can replace this cheap plywood here. Of course, this, as I have mentioned once before, this is going to become a sunroom. So a lot of what's there is going to come down, and it's going to be replaced by screening once I get a floor in and that kind of stuff in there. And for a lot of that, because it's not structural, I can cut my own wood for it. So it should be a pretty interesting experiment to have this sawmill, and I'm really looking forward to it. So that pretty much brings you guys up to date on the major jobs that I've been working on around the house and on the property. It's been a very, very busy late winter, early spring kind of thing, which is the main reason I wasn't doing much in the way of videos. It was to the point where it was feeling pretty overwhelming. So I shot little bits of footage here and there, not too much, and never did anything with it. So I may stick bits and pieces of that in here and there as we go along. But for now, I will try to get back on a little more regular basis of shooting videos. Not planning to go back to doing it weekly as I was before, but we will see if we can be a little more regular. I think for the rest of this video, we're going to go do a run down to Art's and out to his duck blind. He has put in a new road that goes pretty much to the duck blind, and he's saying that I should get down there with my cameras because it does go right along a creek. So we're going to pack up the camera gear and take you guys along, and let's go have a look at that duck blind. So we've come out to Art's road that goes out to the duck blind, or at least fairly close to the duck blind. I haven't been on this before. He's had some pretty heavy equipment back here working on this. So let's take a run back here and we'll see how the road looks. Hang on. Well, this is as far as it goes, and from what I understand, this is supposed to be pretty close to where that duck blind is. So we're going to have a quick look around and see if it is actually close. And then if it is, we'll go down and have a good look at it. So the duck blind is down here. There is a very, very steep bit of trail to negotiate. So I'm going to try to get all my camera equipment and water jug and you guys down there. So it's not very far, and as I say, pretty tricky. Let's go have a look and see if we can get there. Okay, here we go. It's very short, just one section that's very steep. Once we get past this bit, we should be fine. Whoa, 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 whoa. There we go. There's a makeshift railing here that really helps. So there's the remains of some very old structure from something, some other duck blind. I don't think I'd walk out on it. So let's try going along here a little farther, because this is definitely not what I've been seeing from the road. Definitely a path here, and I do see something up in front of us. Yeah, there's definitely a structure there. Yeah, there we go. It does look like a duck blind. I'm not sure what those tarps are for. Geez, the wood on this looks pretty new. Seen a few snakes swimming around the shore here. Well, it looks fairly sturdy. Yeah. Huh. Chairs, table, everything. Wow. Those tarps are kind of curious. Pretty cool. And way over there is the road. Well, there's not a lot going on right now here, but it sure is a pretty spot. Oh, I see a deer. Yeah, it's too far away to catch on the GoPro. I don't think it's going to show up, but that's where he's grazing over there. Well, I think that's going to be it for down at the duck blind today. It's been pretty quiet. Got a few decent photos, especially of the deer that's been grazing over there for the last hour. And I think it has finally moved off. But pretty quiet for the most part, so we're going to head back over to the other side of the road and go back into the bush on that side. So let's get things packed up and we'll move out. Yeah, the footing is a bit iffy, especially for this bit. I'll have to come back with the intention of making it a little easier to get down to that thing. Okay. Whew. Let's pack up and continue along. So we've come back into the bush on the other side of the road and we're back at Dave's hunt camp, and we're going to probably go by foot from here and just wander around and see what I can find with my camera. Well, I think that's going to be it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you out on the trails the next time.